Okay.
So we are in the day two of the storage accounts.
Mhm.
Yesterday we just gave an overview of various kinds of storage options we have, and also the redundancy options like LRS, ZRS, GRS, and RAGRS. Today we are looking at how we can access it using other applications. This is a Microsoft based application that we just installed. This is called as Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. You can log in either with a storage account. When you log in with the Azure storage account, you will get full permissions on the storage account, right? As an admin. So when you click on the sign in button, click on the sign in button. So yeah. So when you click on the sign in button, you will be asked to type in your credentials, the root credentials, the user ID and password of your regular Azure account. Cut that in.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Now once you sign in, you will be able to see all your storage accounts and you will have full access to your storage accounts. So you will be able to see all the storage accounts created directly, indirectly, manually, right? So when you expand the storage account section, you'll see everything in there, all your storage accounts. So you can manage the storage accounts just like the way you could do using Portal or GUI Portal or portal.microsoft.com, right? But in real life, we really don't want to give access to somebody like this. You don't want to share your root credentials. You may want to give access
Right.
with keys. Yeah, you want to play around with that for some time, like file shares, creating. Yeah, click on it, and then you'll see all those upload button, create new folders here, and whatever you upload here will be reflected in the portal as well.
We had uploaded one file, right? Excel file yesterday. We don't see it now.
It was some other folder, I think. Was it this one?
We did that in the file share.
Was it
We
this one?
created only one. Yes.
And and it was this storage account, right?
Yes.
Can you see
We
it
we
in?
mapped a drive, right?
Do you see it in the GUI?
Uh, Let me see if I can find out that here.
You click on your file share. It's not here.
No.
Did we upload to any other file share, or was this the one? Do you still have the map drive?
Yeah.
Do you still have the map drive? Can you go check in the map drive? Yeah, double click on that.
This is some.
Right. Double click on it. Yeah, because we changed the access keys maybe.
Okay. So how can I reactivate this now?
Well, you have to
I
go
have
and
to switch.
remap it. You have to go and remap it. Just
Okay.
run the command one more time.
Okay. I can use the same drive letter again, right?
Yes, yes. Maybe it will say it's already in use, but yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. I can explore it, but I don't see the file. Okay, maybe I have deleted after we worked out.
Okay, so let's go back to
Explorer.
yeah. So you know now know that you can manage the whole storage account from here, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go and sign out of this. There's a plug button there, right? There's a plug button on the top left hand side.
Top left. Okay. Yes. Add account.
Click on it. You get that. What do you? Okay, let's cancel this.
Okay.
And there's yeah, let's click on that one. And let's
Manage it.
remove. Yeah, there's a remove. Yeah, remove that.
Remove. Okay.
Yep,
Condition. Yes.
remove it. Hmm.
Sorry.
Okay. Now let's give some role-based permissions. Role-based permissions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the portal and let's generate some access keys so that people can then access files or folders. Click on access keys. Now you know that we can access it with access keys, right? You can either use access keys or shared access signature as well. Let's click on shared access signature. Shared access signature. Let's click on it. Okay. Now when you click on generate, it will generate an SAS or shared access signature for you. That shared access signature is dependent on the values that you have selected there. So if you want somebody to access just file and not blob, queue or table, you will uncheck them. And then
Okay.
let's say you want to give only permissions to list, or on the very top I was talking about the first one, allowed services. You will uncheck
Okay.
blob, queue and table, and you want to give permissions only to files and nothing else,
Okay.
right? Um, okay. And then you can also give from what time to what time, what date to what date do you want him to access this, right? So in the drop down there, let's select UTC India, the drop down. Yeah. So there will be India is minus 5:30, right? Yeah. So he will be able to access it. Yeah, it's right there. See, it's right there. 5:30. The
Plus
second
530.
plus 5:30. Okay. All right. So he'll be able to access this component from 8:38 to 4:38, which is lot many hours. And also you can put what IP you want to give access to. You can select that
Mm-hmm.
and then say generate. The access key is generated based on the key. Yeah. Okay. Now scroll down. Copy the file service SAS URL. Copy the whole thing. And
Okay.
let's go back to Azure
Explorer.
Explorer and then sign in. Click on that plug button, plug, or add an account, same thing. Now here, instead of
Okay.
adding an Azure account, you will select the second option, yes, shared access signature. And next, and use a
Yes.
SAS URI, select the second button, copy and paste it, and say next, right? See, it has detected
Yeah.
that it's gonna pick up that storage account. and you will have read, write, delete, list, create, permissions. Now once you
Okay.
go back to your folder, and can you click on the top button? No, on the left side.
The,
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Now expand your storage accounts. You have your storage account, and that's it. So you have now earlier you were able to see all the permissions because you logged in as root,
mhm.
but now you are seeing him with uh, all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So you understood this, right? How do we give permissions using SAS?
Right.
Okay.
There is no option like if I don't want to mention the date and time, like I want the person to access any time, not in this particular time. There's nothing that we can exclude this timing.
There's no checkbox that says unlimited, but you can definitely define an unlimited time range.
Maybe we have to put a date in months or years.
Yeah, give it like 5 years or something.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
that's uh, that's how it is. So you know about blob services and file service. These are the two major ones that is used by the infrastructure people. The table
Mhm.
storage is used by the database guys who would like to have their information like tables, create the tables inside NoSQL information in the storage accounts. That's what the table storage is used for.
Okay. Here on the current screen, uh, one quick question to you.
Mm-mm.
So we are playing with the access levels, but not with users, right? I cannot mention specific user. I can only give specific IP.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a group provisioning or user provisioning somewhere, or we don't have that
Even in
option?
the Active Directory documentation, I know the point that you're getting to. Even in the Microsoft Azure documentation, they say so far we do not have such role-based access controls.
Okay, right. Okay, I will close this plate.
Let's go back to storage account.
Mm-hmm. So if we go to this account,
So here you have something called as table storage.
right.
Scroll down. So this is a table storage, mostly NoSQL. You can store, unstructured data, which is scalable, create apps that require a flexible data schema, and this will be keeping information in JSON format. And here you can store, petabytes of information. All of your data is all kept in JSON format inside the table. You can create a table. There's a plus table button, right? Plus table button.
Yes.
Create a table there. Done. So once you click on it, you do not have now that's the end of it. You do not have the flexibility to create rows and table and columns right from here. You need to use
Okay.
REST APIs or any programming platforms to go ahead and insert information into your tables. Is that good? But there's no information here. So for the developers, all you have to do is go ahead and give this endpoint to use, and they will use their skills to update information in there.
Okay.
Well, you can go ahead and try certain things. Um, I'll send you certain links so that you can play around with that. How to insert information into the tables, and that's the link.
Okay. Working with tables.
That's with the PowerShell thing. There's other thing, the last one, last service called as queue storage. The queue storage is mostly for applications that are running asynchronously. So storage queues will store information as far as smaller components of queues are concerned, like small messages or small components of a particular application that can then be stored inside a queue. A queue is nothing but a data structure to store data, which follows the first in, first out rule. The data can be inserted from the back of the queue while it is still being retrieved from the front. Azure queues are a similar concept that is used to store the messages in a queue in the email exchange servers. A sender will send a message and the client receives it
Okay.
and processes them. Maximum amount of time you can keep the information in a queue is for 7 days, and later on it gets deleted. So that's what it is. So we got four of these storage options. Number one, to store information in blobs. Two,
Blobs.
store information in file. Second, store information in tables. Third, store information in queues. You can give permissions using access keys and SAS, which are shared storage accounts.
What is this course?
Uh, Course is mostly for application programming thing. Core stands for cross origin resource sharing. So when you have APIs that are connecting to Azure storage, you would like to have cores with cross origin ones so that applications then can seamlessly communicate with your Azure. So it's an HTTP based request. There's one thing to encrypt it, blob storage, you have that encryption thing. You can click on encryption and just say enable, and it will encrypt that, right? It's already encrypted. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we good with this storage account?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about networking.
Hmm.
Okay. So far, we have created virtual machines, and those virtual machines is something that you could access with a public IP, right? If the machine doesn't
Yes.
have a public IP, then you cannot access it. So basically, um, What will I do if I have to connect to the virtual machine using my private IP? I want to RDP on a private IP. I don't want to communicate on public IP. I want to communicate on a private IP. That means I need to have some kind of VPN tunnel, an encrypted communication between my laptop to the Azure VPN, right?
Right.
So I'll just go ahead and show certain things here. I've just shared my screen. Here is my laptop, and this is the VNet in Azure. Inside my VNet, I made a subnet, and then there goes my virtual machine. So this one is my VNet, and this is my subnet, and this is the VM. So I've been accessing this guy, the VM, over the internet. But what I want to do is create a private communication. So instead of using a public IP, I want to use a private IP to RDP or to communicate with it. So that means I need to set up a simple VPN. Such kind of connectivity is called as point to site VPN. If I have hundreds of machines like this in my network, like 1, 2, 3, that means this is my data center. This is my on-premise office, right? And in my on-premise office, I've got hundreds of these devices. And what I want is an extended LAN. That means people over here must be able to access the resources in the cloud like a LAN. Such kind of connectivity is called as site-to-site VPN. But site-to-site VPN gives you maximum of 200 Mbps connectivity. If you want more than that, then site-to-site VPN is not enough. You have to create something called as express route. In order to establish the express route, you have to communicate with your ISP. ISP then sets up a dedicated connection between your on-premise and the VNet. The maximum speed that express route can give you is 10 Gbps. That depends on the ISP as well. The ISP must also be in a position to give you 10 Gbps. So tomorrow we'll learn about how to create a point to site VPN, and instead of RDPing on a public IP, the end result will be that we will be able to RDP on a private IP. The communication will be over IPsec. This communication will be over IPsec, and hence it is encrypted. So we have to generate certificates and use key pairs called as public and private key pairs. So we'll be using these key pairs to create a point to site VPN. Okay? Right, Azhar? You busy?
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, Asghar, can you hear me? Asghar, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yeah. Right. I can hear you now.
So explain the whole this thing. Were you able to hear me? Point to site.
Yes. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I heard that about point to site we discussed, site to site and express route.
Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and set up point to site VPN tomorrow with the help of certain certificates that
Mhm.
we may have to create. We'll create a private key and a public key. Get the private key installed on your laptop. The public key will then go into your VNet, and that's it. You should be able to then
Okay.
create a point to site. So tomorrow, let's get ready for some networking.
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks, man.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye.